And then how do we work with you, your office, and the rest of city government to track the success of these initiatives, right? Because I can't tell you how many meetings I've gone to where people are just simply saying, hey, the same types of jobs are available, right? On construction, whether it might be like low-level construction, it's been going on for so long. Some of these people should be ascending that ladder, right? Within the union. So how do we as community track the success of these programs so that we can help with the outcomes and keeping government accountable?
So in terms of tracking success, OEWD does report on who's connected to a job, what training program and opportunities they have. So we can get that information from OEWD, send it to you and get that out to community. Now to your larger point of promotions and folks being able to climb the ladder, not only, I'm assuming not only just in jobs around construction, but also even within the city. That's something that we've continued to work on and tried to even get a bigger push and more oversight from the Civil Service Commission to make sure that they are holding DHR accountable to providing opportunities for people of color to increase their skills while they're working for the city, but most certainly so that they can climb the career ladder. And we also work to do the same with the connections that we make either in a private sector or a nonprofit sector. But we can get the information in terms of who's getting hired and connected from OEWD, at least from the programs that they support.
That's great. And I would love to get that so I can sort of share it with community. And along those lines about sort of, hey, how can we actually work with different types of businesses? Jamil said, how can the Black community of the Bayview and the Fillmore and all over the city build better relationship with the Warriors and Chase Stadium?
I think that's actually a wonderful question. The first thing I would say is really reaching out to, it's not just the Warriors. I would say any big business or any big employer in San Francisco, reaching out via email, showing up at events that they have. Your networking is very important and it's major. The more events that you show up to that not only the Warriors have, but other big employers, and consistently bring up the issues and concerns, consistently bring up the things that we don't see happening. That's how you extend the conversation and continue the conversation. So just to give an example, the Warriors, they have several different events throughout the year, both outside of the Chase.
Your audio.
Me? Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can hear
Walton, your audio is not working suddenly. Don't know why.
We can hear you. I can hear you. We can
hear you.
Hear you too.
I'm able to hear you.
We can. I think you can hear me.
Keep going.
I can hear him.
I can hear him and see him.
Supervisor Walton, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, but
Nope,
everybody
can't hear you.
I can hear you. I can
everybody says they can hear me.
Hold on for 1 second. We have a little technical difficulties. Not quite sure why. Okay, so you hear me.
Yes, everyone can hear me but you.
Yeah, keep going. We can hear you.
Maybe it's on my side.
Can you hear me now, Anietie?
Yep, it was on my side.
One of the things I was saying, Jamil, is the Warriors have a lot of different events, for example, outside of the Chase Center, open to the public throughout the course of the year, where a lot of their leadership attends. And that would be a perfect place to continue to bring up your concerns and issues. While I always recommend putting everything in writing. Any concern that you have, you know how to organize, bringing people together and putting your requests, your concerns in writing to the leadership of these organizations and these businesses, and obviously getting them to come to forums like this and trying to hold space where, you know, our office can be a part of conversations as well, and be helpful times once dialogue is started. But it's all about networking. It's all about showing up places where these companies, these entities spend time and expressing concerns on a consistent basis, because that's kind of like I said the other morning, the harder you work, the more visible you make yourself, the more time you spend networking. It's hard for people to be able to at least deny you opportunity to be in the room.
Thank you for that. Along the lines of sort of reaching out economic development, I think there was a great question about the current status of the Walgreens on 3rd and Williams. Have you heard anything, or will they be remaining there? Has anyone reached out to your office? There's a lot of concern about potential settlements or them just moving out of that space.
Well, I hear different rumors about different things all the time. In fact, when we had the reparations rally yesterday, somebody told me that the hearing was canceled at 3 o'clock. So sometimes I don't know where these conversations come from. I haven't heard anything about Walgreens shutting down other than people just saying that that's a thought that they may believe, but I have not heard anything about that. In fact, there's been PD participating with doing everything they can to keep that Walgreens safe, as well as private sector employees coming in to support keeping the Walgreens safe. So I haven't heard anything about that. I haven't heard anything formal about that. Let me just say that.
Great, thank you for that. We'd like to sort of shift gears and talk a little bit about public safety. I know that a lot of people are concerned, and rightfully so, and would love to sort of hear your thoughts about public safety here in the Bayview. What can be done, not only by your office, but what could we do as the community to help make things more safe?
Public safety is obviously real for all of us. All of us want our families to be able to move about the city safely. We want our homes to be protected. I have been spending a lot of time with Captain Marin, either hosting forums like this with different parts of community. I was at the Bayview station last week, meeting with Captain Marin and residents on Cuseta. We talked to merchants, and we obviously owe our merchants another meeting with the captain and the chief. But we are, I would even say, on a tour of working with community and providing support. The captain has provided increased patrols in different areas across the district and working with the staffing levels that he has. But obviously, every response to community safety is not a police response. So to your point earlier, been doing everything we can to make sure job opportunities are provided for people, to make sure we get resources in communities so our young people have things to do, because obviously the more positivity around you, the more opportunities you have, the better choices and decisions you will make. We also talk about what's really real in our community, what type of complaints we are getting versus complaints that might be coming from other parts of the city. Most of the complaints we get around safety are really addressing some of the concerns and issues with either folks with mental health issues or folks who are unhoused in community. And that's why we have the level of navigation centers we have. That's why we have the VTC site, the RV site, and continue to work closely with the HOT team to get folks out when there are concerns. There's a street crisis response and prevention team that comes out that can respond to mental health concerns, or when there's someone who is unhoused, versus calling in the police department unless obviously there's a crime being committed. We have been seeing more stationary posts from the department in certain areas to try to deter certain types of crimes. But most certainly, just like any other big city, there are things that we continue to deal with that we're working to address. We do have a safety plan in place, particularly around addressing violence and trying to eradicate and do everything we can to stop killings and homicides in the district, working closely with our street violence and intervention and prevention team, particularly to stop retaliations and to provide space and place for young people to get out of community, do something positive, go on trips, and have opportunities to connect to jobs, and we'll continue to do that. The plan was developed with community leaders, with our SVIP team, with the police department, with the public defender's office, with the district attorney's office. But there are a lot of different perceptions of safety in community, and we're just trying to be responsive to everyone's needs and concerns. Most certainly, we want to make sure that we're not wasting resources, and so we really want to be responding to things that keep people up at night and make people feel unsafe, and that's what we're doing as office.
So if you can give a little bit of guidance, because I think a lot of people want to be really compassionate, specifically with homeless people or there might just be people that have certain sort of mental illness going on. And I know I've come across this myself where I actually don't want to call 911, right? I don't want to have an officer have to interact with someone who isn't being a threat to anyone, but just probably shouldn't be in a particular place. Great example, I was driving just the other day and someone was walking onto the highway off ramp, right? Granted, there was a lot of traffic, but still, who do I call? Who do I reach out to, right? You mentioned like a few teams so that I can help and not sort of put someone or myself in danger.
You see, again, if you see any issues around quality of life or folks who may be unhoused or have substance abuse or mental health issues that you feel you can recognize, 911 is still the call for the street crisis response team, but that's who will get sent out versus PD. Obviously, if you see a crime committed, that's a different type of call. I think everyone is aware of 911 if they see crimes or any violent acts that are happening that they want to report and need to report. But the street crisis response team is accessed through 911. If you just want to try to get a hot team out for maybe a encampment resolution or in areas where you may see folks who are living on the street, you can certainly contact 311 as well.